My father's first words on entering Westminster Abbey yesterday were a pledge of service. It was a pledge to continue to serve, because for over 50 years, in every corner of the UK, across the Commonwealth and around the world,
few people realise there's a story about Prince William that has remained almost entirely hidden from public view. It isn't captured in the flawless images at royal events, nor in the carefully curated narratives fed to the press. This is the story that happens behind the palace doors, the life lived away from cameras, whispers, and endless scrutiny. It's a story of grief, loss, and silence. A boy struggling with the unimaginable weight of loss. A girl whose family was fractured, navigating her own silent world for 20 long years. That silence isn't empty. It tells a story louder than the tabloids ever could. Prince William has spent his life under a relentless spotlight. Every detail of his grief, his marriage, even his fatherhood has been examined, dissected, and analysed. Yet one part of his life remained hidden, not just from the public or the palace, but even from himself. At the centre of this hidden world is Laura Lopes, daughter of Queen Camilla. She has no royal title and often remains in the background of this famous family. Most people have never even heard her name, yet she has been quietly present at pivotal moments in William's life for more than 20 years. She was like a sister he never truly acknowledged, a presence locked behind an invisible door he wasn't ready to open. This story is about what happened when that door finally swung open. Laura Rose Parker Bowles grew up under the shadow of someone else's scandal, long before stepping into her role as William's stepsister. Born on New Year's Day, 1978, in the rolling countryside of Wiltshire, England, she was the second child of Camilla Parker Bowles and retired British Army officer Andrew Parker Bowles. With an older brother, Tom, she spent her childhood at Bull Hyde Manor, a grand estate boasting 8 bedrooms, 70 acres and a swimming pool. On the surface, it seemed idyllic, a life of calm, order and privilege. But beneath that serene exterior, tension and whispered secrets simmered, quietly shaping her childhood. Even as a young girl, Laura could feel that something was off. She overheard hushed phone calls, whispered adult conversations, and the subtle shifts in tone when certain names were mentioned. One name in particular echoed in her mind, Charles. Though she didn't yet understand affairs or the collision of two families under public scrutiny, she instinctively knew that the mere mention of this name softened her mother's voice and hardened her father's jaw. By the time Laura reached her teenage years, the secret was no longer secret. Her mother's relationship with the Prince of Wales was plastered across newspapers, discussed in hushed office conversations, and dissected in gossip columns. Society painted Camilla as the villain in a tragic love triangle, Diana as the heartbroken heroine, and Laura, she became the overlooked bystander, the silent witness to a storm that wasn't hers to control. She was 16 when her parents divorced in 1995, 17 when Diana publicly acknowledged her complicated marriage, and 19 when Diana tragically died in the Paris tunnel. The world asked her mother how she was coping, but no one ever asked Laura, no one. From this, she learned early that silence can shield you, privacy can fortify you, and strength often comes from carrying burdens alone. Laura bore her weight quietly, learning that the quietest people often carry the heaviest hearts. Meanwhile, William was building his own fortress, his wall of grief. September 6, 1997. Westminster Abbey. 2 boys dressed in dark suits walked solemnly behind their mother's coffin while a billion eyes watched. 15-year-old William, 12-year-old Harry. That walk marked the moment their childhood shattered, leaving scars that would take decades to understand. Over time, William's wall grew taller, each brick forged from memory, pain, and duty. Every mention of Diana's name, every press headline, every encounter with Camilla, the woman tied to his mother's suffering, added weight to that wall. Camilla's name cut deep, yet William learned to mask his pain with politeness, trained for a life that demanded composure. Friends observed the guarded distance he maintained. A 2023 report revealed that even after decades, he still wrestled with her presence in the family, not with anger, but with caution, a protective instinct honed over years of loss. Laura, kind and unassuming, was drawn into this emotional web, She reminded William of what had been lost, of complicated loyalties, and of the past he couldn't escape. He avoided gatherings where she would be present, retreating behind his wall. The woman who had once caused his mother immense pain was now his stepmother, her daughter, his stepsister. No grief, no years of restraint could alter that reality. For 20 years, William maintained distance. He attended Laura's wedding in 2006. She later stood as a bridesmaid at his daughter's wedding in 2011. Polite, appropriate, emotionally closed off. He gave the minimum, never letting warmth or vulnerability slip through. But that distance, carefully maintained, eventually became unsustainable, because what nobody saw were the fights, real fights, pain-fueled confrontations that revealed the rawest parts of both their hearts. When two children scarred by grief collided in adulthood, the polite veneer cracked. Laura, walking down Westminster Abbey's aisle, flowers in hand, brought a truth that couldn't be ignored. Biographer Katie Nicholl, in William and Harry, Behind the Palace Walls, 2010, described not the expected stiff royal tension, but real arguments powered by genuine pain. Two young people, defending the parents they loved, convinced the other had caused suffering. The cruelty wasn't intentional. It was grief speaking. William carried Diana's absence like a heavy cloak, while Laura had watched her mother endure public vilification. Neither could stay silent forever. On occasion, Laura confronted him directly. "Your father has ruined my life." 4 words, carrying the weight of a childhood shattered, an accusation and a confession wrapped into one. They were echoes of William's own unspoken thoughts about Camilla. They shared more in common than either realized. One detail stands out vividly. When Charles called Camilla at home, young Laura sometimes picked up a second phone and screamed at him to leave her mother alone, a little girl confronting the future King of England, fiercely protective of her family. That same family William would eventually integrate into his life. That same family Laura would later attend royal events with, share photographs, and celebrate Christmas alongside. Both sought to protect what they cherished. Both fought because of grief. The tragedy was not in their conflict. The tragedy was that they were fighting over the same pain, both children trying to hold together what had already been broken. Neither deserved the weight they carried, neither fully understood the adult that the other had become, while the world watched them from afar. While William navigated global attention, Laura chose a life of quiet resilience. She graduated from Oxford Brookes University with a degree in art history, a field later explored by Princess Kate. She built her career on merit, not family name, earning respect in the art world on her own terms. Laura interned at Venice's Peggy Guggenheim collection, managed the Space Gallery in Belgravia, and in October 2005, co-founded 11 Fine Art. For a decade, she ran the gallery without leaning on her royal connections, establishing herself purely through talent and vision. Later, she founded Laura LRT, her own curatorial practice emphasizing British figurative artists. By 2025, she had gained recognition at the British Art Fair, cementing her reputation as a respected figure in London's art scene. Laura's story deserves to be told. She lived in the shadow of scandal, carried her own grief, and quietly emerged resilient, creative, and independent. She never relied on a family name to propel her forward, instead carving a path built on talent, courage, and determination. And through it all, William slowly discovered that the people he had kept at a distance often held the key to understanding and healing. That even walls built from grief could one day open, revealing truths that had waited silently for years. It is a story of survival, strength, and quiet heroism, a tale of two people who, despite unimaginable losses, learned to navigate the complicated landscape of family, public scrutiny, and grief. Both carried scars from childhood and adolescence, yet each found a way to endure. Laura's life is a testament to resilience, proving that even in the shadow of scandal and heartbreak, one can rise with grace. And in the end, the connection that finally grew between her and William wasn't born from duty. It came from shared experience, mutual understanding, and the patience to wait until the right moment revealed itself. Her story, once hidden, is now essential. It reminds us that behind the glittering doors of the palace, beyond the headlines, the human heart beats with all its complexities, pain, and triumph. Laura Lopes, daughter of Queen Camilla, endured years of silence, emerged strong, and found her own voice. That voice, that quiet courage, continues to resonate in London's art world, in the family she shares with William, and in the lives she touches through her work and story. Her life shows that strength isn't always loud, and resilience isn't always visible, but it shapes the world in ways the public rarely sees. And as she continues to grow her career, maintain her privacy, and walk her own path with dignity, the story of Laura Lopes remains a testament to the unseen, uncelebrated courage that exists in the shadows of one of the most scrutinized families in the world. She remains a figure who proved that even in the most complicated circumstances, one can rise with talent, independence, and integrity, without ever needing to rely on a name that carried scandal before her birth. Her journey, her achievements, and her resilience are all part of the hidden chapters of William's life, the chapters that have finally begun to be understood. Even decades later, the life of Laura Lopes stands as a quiet reminder. In the spaces between grief and scandal, in the hidden corners of families under scrutiny, real people endure, grow, and transform. Her story is one that the world needs to know, and it deserves to be remembered, celebrated, and understood. For in the midst of royal tragedy and public obsession, she has emerged as a symbol of perseverance, talent, and quiet strength. A figure who not only survived history, but shaped her own legacy on her own terms. In May 2006, she married Harry Lopes at a charming 16th century church in Wiltshire, a setting that felt far more genuine than many high-profile royal weddings. Attended by William, Harry, Charles, Camilla, and 250 guests, it was an intimate yet strikingly elegant celebration. Laura wore a gown by Anna Valentine, the same designer her mother had chosen for her own wedding to Charles just a year earlier. A subtle but meaningful connection across generations, linking her present to the past with grace and intention. Over the years, Laura and Harry built a family grounded in love and discretion. They have 3 children: Eliza, born in 2008, followed by twins Gus and Lewis in 2009. From the beginning, Laura made it clear that her children's upbringing would be shielded from the relentless glare of the press. She refused to let them grow up under the intense scrutiny that had shaped her own childhood. And yet, life had a way of bringing royal moments to them regardless. In 2023, Gus broke his arm just before the coronation, where he and his brother served as pages of honor to the king. There he stood, cast and all at the altar, embodying poise and responsibility beyond his years. Despite pain, he carried himself with the same dignity his mother had exemplified throughout her life, a testament to her values and influence. Laura Lopes represents a rare and almost revolutionary figure within the royal family. While many rely on connections, celebrity, or media visibility for status, she prioritizes decency over fame, privacy over attention, and authenticity over performance. She lives honestly, setting an example that is quietly revolutionary. In doing so, she reflects a side of royalty often overlooked, a commitment to values over optics, to character over spectacle, and to integrity over performative power. She is, in many ways, more genuinely royal than those constantly in the public eye. The Christmas of 2024 at Sandringham marked a turning point, a subtle but significant shift in decades-long family dynamics. The gathering included about 45 guests, making it the largest royal Christmas in recent memory. For William, who had grown accustomed to quieter Norfolk Christmases, the occasion symbolized a permanent change. He watched as King Charles faced his own cancer diagnosis with the unwavering strength the public had long admired. Meanwhile, Kate, who had recently completed her own cancer treatment, impressed the nation with her composure, grace, and quiet resilience. Amidst these larger-than-life struggles, the Wales children, George, Charlotte, and Louis, ran freely across the historic grounds, blissfully unaware of the decades of family history surrounding them. For the first time in decades, Laura Lopes attended as more than a peripheral figure. She wasn't simply on the edge of the guest list, or there as a friend of the family, she was fully included. On that frosty Norfolk morning, she walked toward the church with calm confidence, present in a way she hadn't been allowed for most of the past 20 years. Royal insiders noted the difference immediately. This was no token presence, no nod to formality. She was seen, acknowledged, and quietly respected. The atmosphere at Sandringham that Christmas was complex, carrying the weight of decades of history. It wasn't tense or hostile in a dramatic way, but the air was charged with unspoken emotions. Guests moved carefully through the layers of family legacy, navigating the silent acknowledgements of the past. Observers remarked on Laura's calm, almost meditative presence. She didn't seek out William, nor did she display warmth that didn't exist. She simply existed as she always had, aware, composed, and quietly present. Laura and her brother Tom arrived at the service privately, bypassing the customary public walk with the rest of the family. Even in the heart of the royal world, at one of its most iconic estates, she managed to remain just outside the spotlight. Yet something had undeniably shifted. William noticed it. He saw Laura move naturally through the home that had once been emotionally closed to her. He witnessed her being welcomed by his father with genuine affection, and in that recognition, he felt something he had long suppressed. Not anger, not resentment, but something quieter and more unsettling, acknowledgement, and a realization that his distance from her had never truly been about Laura at all. Christmas 2024 didn't provide reconciliation. It wasn't a fairy tale resolution or a sweeping gesture of understanding, but it was the first crack in a wall that had stood for decades, a crack that hinted at what might come when time, reflection, and courage intersect. William's relationship with Laura has always been mediated by the shadow of his mother, Diana. She is at the heart of everything for him, the compass that guides his emotions, even in moments when it is painful or uncomfortable. For William, grief isn't something that fades neatly with time. It morphs, it lingers, and it surfaces in the smallest interactions, the quietest gestures, and the most intimate family gatherings. Diana wasn't just William's mother. She was the first person to show him love without conditions, without political calculation, without expectation. In a childhood dominated by rules, duty, and public performance, Diana offered an unconditional haven. Her death didn't just leave a void, it left a blueprint of love that William has spent his life trying to protect. Every act of distance or caution was a measure to preserve the memory of what he lost, a way to keep the essence of her love intact against a world of shifting narratives and public scrutiny. Laura Lopes had never wronged William. She bore no responsibility for the past or for the choices linked to Camilla. Yet her presence reminded him of loss, unfairly, yet inevitably. Grief often seeks a vessel, and sometimes that vessel is someone who merely exists within the orbit of shared history. In that recognition, William began to confront a fundamental question that comes with long-held grief. How long will you let the past control your present? He had kept Laura at a distance to protect Diana's memory, but in reality, he was also protecting himself. From vulnerability, from connection, and from the messy truths of blended families and reconciliation. Diana, the real woman behind the public persona, would not have wanted him to remain isolated. She would have encouraged him to embrace the slow thaw, to allow those long frozen walls to crumble in small, deliberate steps. Change, especially in a family as scrutinized and complex as the British royal family, doesn't arrive in one monumental moment. It comes in gestures, in shifts of presence, in small acts of acknowledgement that accumulate over time. For example, Laura's daughter Eliza walking down Westminster Abbey as a bridesmaid at William's wedding in 2011 was one of these subtle but meaningful steps. The inclusion of Laura's family in such a personal, historic moment sent a quiet message. Regardless of past grievances, connections mattered. They mattered for the children, for the family, and for the legacy that would follow. Similarly, Laura's sons, Gus and Lewis, participating as pages of honor in the 2023 coronation, reinforced their place in history. Their presence on Buckingham Palace's balcony, immortalized in official photos, symbolized that Laura's family was recognized, accepted, and valued, no longer peripheral but an integral part of royal life. Then came Christmas 2024, and by December 2025, Tom Parker Bowles announced an alternating arrangement, ensuring that he and Laura would step back from attending every Christmas celebration. This practical, human decision reflected the reality of blended families, compromises, schedules, and fairness, not royal drama. The fact that Laura and Tom were now considered part of the family's Christmas plans spoke volumes. It was no longer exceptional or contentious. It was normalized. Walls had begun to fall, slowly but irreversibly. William learned an important lesson through this gradual process. Honoring his mother's memory does not mean shutting out others. Diana would have wanted her son to recognize the value of connection, kindness, and inclusion. Isolating Laura or her children in the name of grief would have contradicted everything Diana stood for. Today, the children at Sandringham, George, Charlotte, Louis, Eliza, Gus, and Lewis, play together, unaware of the complicated history behind them. They are cousins forging memories free from the weight of past scandals, carrying forward a legacy of family bonds rather than grudges. Laura never sought to be a symbol or a secret. She wanted acknowledgement for her own merit, to be present for her children in meaningful ways without using her position for personal gain. She consistently attends important events, letting her children participate in royal occasions naturally. She is recognized, but never exploitative, involved, but never performative. William, for his part, is learning to navigate grief with nuance, to engage with Laura and her family in ways that honor both the past and the present. This journey is human. It isn't a flaw or failure. It's the process of slowly confronting grief, reconciling old hurts, and choosing inclusion over isolation. By gradually opening up to Laura and accepting her place in the family, William honors his mother's legacy in the truest sense, through connection, empathy, and emotional courage. Diana would have been proud to see him taking these steps. The public sees a well-coordinated, polished royal family during Christmas walkabouts, waving to cameras with choreographed precision. But behind those closed doors lies a more complex reality: grief, forgiveness, compromise, and subtle negotiations of long-standing family dynamics. It is here, in the quiet corridors of Sandringham and the unspoken gestures of inclusion, that the true story unfolds. Laura Lopes has lived entirely within that story, demonstrating grace, resilience, and discretion, never demanding the spotlight yet shaping the family's narrative profoundly. If this story gives you a new perspective on the royal family, share it with someone who could benefit from it. Drop a comment below to let me know your thoughts. Do you think William has truly made peace with this part of his past? I read every single one. Until next time, leave a like, comment, and subscribe to follow the story as it continues to unfold.